What is up, guys? Today we're making Ukrainian Shinka. We're so excited to bring you guys a new recipe. We're going to be doing a really easy, yummy recipe. It's called Shinka. I'm not sure what to compare it to. It's like a smoked pork tenderloin, but with like little mini techniques to make it a Shinka. Shinka just literally means ham in German. Ingredients are super simple. You'll have your pork tenderloin. These are amazing because they're already pre-cut, trimmed up, and they have a touch of sea salt in there, which is awesome. And then we're gonna be using an egg, our butcher's twine, and then of course our Lawry seasoning. And if you don't have Lawry seasoning, all you'll need is 1/3 cup of fine salt, 3 1/2 teaspoon of super fine sugar, 1 1/2 teaspoon of cornstarch. For your herbs and spices, you'll need 1 1/2 tablespoon of celery salt, 1 tablespoon of paprika, 1 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric, and 1/8 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Bogdan, what kind of meat is this anyway?
So pretty much what we got here is we got some pork loin, and we have later on, we're gonna have tenderloins, which we already prepped so that we can have this episode out to you guys. We don't wanna spend 2 weeks making an episode. So here we have a pork loin, and pretty much what this is it's the back part of the pig. There's a muscle on the back. Inside of here, there's usually a tenderloin, and inside of the tenderloin is like a softer piece of meat, which we already prepped. I know it's too much information, but don't worry about it. The difference is the tenderloin has a little tail that gets cut off.
And they're both the same, but it's just the tail gets cut off.
Exact same process, exact same everything. So you guys just concentrate on the technique. Don't worry about the type of meat at the end.
Yeah. Okay, let's get to it. These are amazing. Amazing. I can't talk. These are amazing. Like, look at these. They're already prepared and cleaned up for you. You don't have to worry about trimming anything unless you really want to trim like these pieces, but the fatty pieces are great to have. This is almost like Canadian bacon, but you can eat this one raw. Raw? You don't want to eat it raw.
Well, not raw, you know.
Yeah, like
a deli.
Yeah, like a deli meat. You're like raw. Ew.
Pretty much we want to make sure that any kind of fat or any kind of big pieces of anything that's hanging off, we want to make sure we cut it right off, because otherwise it's just going to dry up. It's not going to be really tasty afterwards.
Right. All right, let's get our Lawry seasoning. We're going to season this entire loin. You just want to get all the sides covered like you're doing a barbecue pretty much. You don't have to have it like absolutely perfect because it's gonna go inside a bag and it's just gonna sit in a bag for a few days. All done, because this week, this boy did a ton. Here we have our vacuum bags. We're just gonna put the loins in the bags. We already have a few already pre-done, so we're not like sitting around and waiting on them. The seasoning is just phenomenal, the smell of it.
I think the main seasoning is like celery salt and paprika.
So good.
And I think, and there's probably a little bit of sugar in there too.
It smells exactly, you're right. Oh, the paprika is super like potent.
Happen is this will speed up the curing time, so pretty much it'll get salted in about 2 days instead. Normally it would take like a week.
Dang, that's awesome. Dude, this food sealer thing is like the best investment ever. We save our...
And it's literally the cheapest one you can buy.
Yeah, I think we got ours from Walmart or something.
I think so, or yeah, maybe.
We got our whole family on these food sealing things. Fridge for about 2 days. I already have one that's already been done and completed. We've had it in the fridge for 2 days and the color changed, so it's ready to be washed and prepped for the smoker.
It's crazy how much of a different color change there is though. Yeah, this one over here is like a salmony orange. It looks really good. And this one is much darker and it looks like it's ready to go. Look at it.
We're gonna wash it and then we're gonna prep it for the smoker.
You don't want to be biting into these things and you just have a mouthful of salt.
Yeah, that ain't gonna be fun. All right, just gonna rinse it off.
A good way to tell is probably like how much of the red that you rinse off, you know, because that doesn't really soak in too much, only a little bit.
Yeah, it looks already good right there. It definitely smells very garlicky. It does. Come smell it.
I think there's a bunch of garlic inside the Lawry's that really soaks in or seeps in.
So garlicky.
That turmeric too inside the yellow one, it probably helps with the color. Because there's a little bit of a trick to get this golden color on the outside that we're trying to get, that we're going to show you guys.
Ooh, these are very, very wet.
Yeah, pretty much from here what we got to do is we want to be able to get to something like this. This is actually our finished pre-smoker, ready to go stuff. So it's a little bit tacky. It's almost ready to go. And that's what we want because we want it to be able to grab the smoke. I know it's a weird concept, but that's just how it works. And we also want to have it nice and dry like that for when we do our egg wash.
Yes, we're gonna grab our egg, but first I'm gonna grab my kitchen towel. This is specifically for this. You can use paper towels, but we use our kitchen rags and we put them through our washer machine with a lot of bleach.
Once these are dried out, they're gonna go into the fridge for about an hour or two till they get that sort of tacky look.
Okay.
And then I think they'll be ready for the egg wash.
All right, these are gonna go into the fridge for about 2 hours. We have a couple of pre-made, ready to go. We're gonna show you how to put the twine on them.
That's my job.
That is your job. I cannot tie I'm horrible at it.
For the tying up, it's super easy. All I do is I usually measure one way down and one way the other way, and I'll make a cut, and that's sort of enough string usually for this whole thing. What we're trying to do is we're trying to compress our meat so that later we have a nice bite once it cooks and once it sort of rests in the fridge for a little. On the very top, I'm gonna make my first tie and do like a double tie, sort of like a butcher's knot, and tie it down. Then for the next one, I'm gonna place my finger in the middle. I'm gonna wrap it around, do a little wrap around, and feed it right back through and down. And pretty much what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to tighten this. So if you put your finger on each side and you pull, you'll tighten it nicely and you'll feel it's nice and firm. You want it to feel sort of like if you put your thumb and your finger together right here, your pointer finger, the way it feels right here is the way you want the meat sort of to feel. So make sure it's tight enough to feel that way. I'm gonna keep going and do the rest of these. I already have some beaten egg right here, so it's one whole egg that we just whisked together quickly. This is one of the essential pieces on making sure that your piece of shinka or your pork has a beautiful golden exterior, sort of like Canadian bacon. Is we're gonna move these apart and then slowly from one side to the other. We don't want to put a ton, but you want to be able to sort of see the egg go on just like this, just like an egg wash, like if you were doing a pie or a cake or bread or anything. And this egg wash is going to catch some of the smoke and turn a beautiful golden color. So we're going to do both on this side, and then we're going to do both on the other side. So we're going to go ahead and flip and do that side as well. And this meat is just so soft already. The reason we love the pork tenderloin is it's literally one of the softest pieces on the pig. So it's going to have an amazing soft bite. It's going to have that just a little bit of smoke. That Lawry's is going to season it, and it's just going to be fantastic.
All right, do you think we're ready for the smoker?
I think we are. We already got it preheated to 150 degrees because what's going to happen is we're going to give it a little bit of smoke and slowly bring it up to an internal temperature of 145. So we're looking at 2 or 3 hours of smoke. Then we're going to bring it inside because it's like 8 degrees outside, and we have to finish it in our oven.
It is cold today.
Freezing, and I don't want to be there for too long. The camera probably can't even handle this. Smoker's already preheated to 150, so we're just gonna put our stuff right on here. Got a bunch for everybody, for the whole family. This is for the sauna. This is for later when we have that sauna built. We're gonna be snacking on all this.
Dude, I can't wait.
But I love doing this in bulk, so we're only showing you guys how to make like 2 at a time so you can sort of figure out how to do it. And then you can take it up from there, you know, you can make as much as you want. This is just, we showed you how to make 2 while we're making 10. So we have plenty, you know, and then you guys have plenty. I love doing this in bulk and then having it just in the freezer, in the fridge, you know, it lasts for a long time. But we're gonna close this and we're gonna come back in like about 2 hours just to see where it's at and what it looks like. After about 2 hours, we checked on the pork and it was almost the perfect color, so we had to wait 1 more hour for a total of 3 hours cook time at 150 degrees. The pork should come out feeling still a little bit raw and not fully cooked. I like to transfer them to a wire rack topped on top of a cookie sheet and then put them inside of an oven at 200 degrees. Cooking time may vary because every piece of pork is just a little bit different, but after about 2 hours, you should be close to internal temperature of 145 degrees. 145 degrees is the perfect internal temperature for this pork and for this dish because it recreates the authentic traditional texture of a Shinka. I like to set my oven to convection bake because the fans inside turn on and it sort of simulates the inside of a smokehouse. Once you hit the internal temp of 145 degrees Fahrenheit, you want to place them in a big bowl because we're going to dunk these in water. Dunking them in water actually does 2 things. First of all, it gives us a chance to clean off any kind of soot or any kind of grease that sort of came with it and will give it an off taste or any kind of bitter, weird tastes. It also helps make sure that the meat has a chance to stop cooking because otherwise the meat might overcook a little bit and we don't really want that overcooked texture. We want it just right, moist, soft, and tasting like a traditional Shinka. There's nothing like the ending of a video when we actually get to taste what we've been working on. And this Shinka looks like the real deal. I mean, look at it.
Dude, that thing looks beautiful. Textbook, right?
Look at that. It has that perfect golden color. It's nice and dry on the outside. Nothing too crazy. Can't wait to cut right into it because I'm pretty sure it's going to be super, super moist inside. We cooked it to 145 degrees. And let's check that out. Boom. Wow. Textbook. Nice and soft. Super soft. Feel that. It feels super good.
Ooh.
But we have to try this the traditional way because a lot of times, you know, you can just slice this up and eat it all week. You know, we just have it sliced up in a little container and you eat it for breakfast. You eat it whenever you want a little snack. But we actually have something really special. Let me grab it real quick. We got some good traditional bread over here.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to cut it up. We baked it today. So we're going to get us a nice slice. Let's do it from this end. And you know, you have to try it with some of this and a little bit.
What kind of bread is this?
This is almost like a ciabatta bread, but we make it a little bit different. We make it like a homemade style. And you got to get a little bit of butter on here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Butter and salt is the way to anybody's heart when you're Ukrainian. So we're going to put a nice big slab of butter on there. Yummy. And then we're going to get our beautiful, beautiful meat. I mean, look at that. And we like to slice it nice and thin. Nice small pieces. And I'm going to put it right on top of the bread.
That looks so good.
And this is great. You know, we eat it with soup and all sorts of other stuff here, but I'm going to let you try it because you spent all this time doing
I
this.
bet I did.
So you're going to get a nice big bite and tell me what you think.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Mm. What do you taste?
That bread, though, that's fire.
The bread is so good, but
that's not what we're here for, dude.
The meat is perfect. It's like a little bit sweet, a little bit salty, just a light bit of smoke. It's sensational. And just look how soft it is. It just comes right apart.
Break another piece. Let me see it.
For these pork tenderloins, they got this little tail that we were talking about. So most of the time, all we do is just cut the tail off, save it for ourselves. There's nothing wrong with it. It's perfect. It's just a little smaller. And then from here, what we'll do is usually we'll just cut it right in half, put it just like this, and we'll put it right inside a vacuum sealed bag. seal it up, and all of that moisture and everything stays inside these bigger pieces. A lot better than little slices. Thank you guys so much for watching, and thanks so much for being a part of our channel. Make sure you're following us on Instagram so you can catch some more of our sauna build and a bunch of other behind the scenes that we have. We'll catch you next time.